What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Trey Jones. Thank you for joining, and today I'm going to be giving you 10 foods that trigger anxiety. Go ahead and smash the like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt. Today's question of the day: what foods aggravate your anxiety? Share that down below in the comment section. I'll be picking 2 people for next video to give a shout out to. Speaking of which, 2 shout outs today: Night Fox, Alex Pegg. Thank you for being proactive and answering last video's question. So guys, I want to jump right into this. Diet is such a huge part of anxiety recovery and anxiety relief, believe it or not. We are what we eat. Let food be thy medicine. Those are things I believe in. Some people aren't huge about that. That's something that I firmly believe in, all right? So many times during my 5 years of dealing with anxiety, what I was eating caused panic attacks. It caused a flare-up of symptoms. So I just want you guys to know that what you're eating can lead to more anxiety, all right? So these are 10 foods that can trigger this process, all right? Everybody's different. We handle foods in different ways, but there is some truth to this. Our gut is our second brain, all right? So we need a good balance of good and bad bacteria. That way we can produce adequate amounts of serotonin. If our gut produces 90% of our serotonin, something that's used to fight off anxiety, we wanna make sure that we're feeding it the right food, okay? So the very first one, guys, many of you are still consuming this. It can be a habit as well. Caffeine, okay? Good old caffeine. I love me some coffee. I haven't been drinking it lately, just for personal reasons. But coffee was something that I had to do away with whenever I had anxiety. All right? It's gonna speed up your heart. Your heart rate's gonna go up. Your blood pressure is gonna get slightly elevated. I had this warm sensation in the middle of my stomach and my chest area. So I would often get really jittery. You're having a spike of energy. It does not help if you have panic attacks or anxiety attacks. It can really flare those symptoms up. It's just a no-go, all right? We don't need anything else to trigger us or to spark us off, and caffeine can be that. So sodas, also you're gonna have a lot of sugar with soda, and energy drinks. And guys, stay away from the pre-workouts, okay? You're not doing yourself any favors by consuming caffeine or large amounts of caffeine whenever you're dealing with anxiety. Try decaf if you want. There's minute amounts, there's very tiny amounts of caffeine in decaf coffee, by the way, if you didn't know. Word to your mother. So try that out if you want, okay? Some people aren't gonna feel it or like it as much, but caffeine is a big no-no. The next one, guys, alcohol, all right? I know not all of you deal with this, but you can get caught up in a vicious cycle of drinking to numb your anxiety, your emotional pain, your symptoms. I got into a bad habit of that. I started drinking every single day, and before you knew it, I had this bad addiction, all right? I was drinking every single day to numb my panic attacks, to numb my symptoms, and then the next day I would have this horrible anxiety hangover, or hangxiety, if you will. I had all the dehydration symptoms, the IBS, the stomach issues, the nausea from the drinking. Then I had all the panic attack symptoms as well. So all that combined made for a living hell the next day. Save yourself some misery, okay? And put that aside for right now while you're trying to recover. It's not worth it. Many of you have found out the hard way, and you're gonna keep on finding out the hard way, all right? Until you finally are like, okay, I don't need this in my life right now. I need to focus on recovery. Alcohol will hold you back. You'll become reliant on it. You can develop a really serious addiction, so stay away from that. The next one, guys, is dairy, okay? So obviously, cheese, milk, sour cream. I know some of you like the good stuff. I loved milk, but you know what? Honestly, like lactose is not really good for our anxiety. It's an inflammatory, okay? So it's gonna really aggravate your stomach issues. If you have any type of anxiety stomach issues, dairy is gonna flare that up. It definitely did that for me. Horrible gas, stomach cramping, made my whole IBS situation much, much worse. Guys, it's just my personal opinion. We are not meant to drink cow's milk, okay? That's for calves. It's not something that we were meant to have. It's an inflammatory. I know it's delicious, right? I know it's delicious. Start working on cutting some of that out, all right? And there are some substitutes out there that are fairly healthy. It's about finding some that are affordable. Try those out and see if it makes a difference. The next one, guys, is sugar. Now, believe it or not, we don't even have a bag of sugar in our house, but I found some of this, just some processed sugar, stuff that you would put on cookies and whatnot. But sugar, okay, tons of desserts, candy, sweets, any of that stuff, okay? The sugar high and the crash can cause a lot of shaking, all right? Trembling, spasms, jitteriness, and then muscle tension as well. And of course, you know, with the crash comes the fatigue and tiredness. So that's something that we want to get out of our life, you know, at least as much as possible. Stay away from a lot of sugar. It's not good for you in general. It's not good for your health, but it's definitely not good for your anxiety. And watch out, there's tons of things that have sugar in it, things that you never would have thought, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. The next one is just processed food in general. And this is very hard, right? Especially in this day and age. You turn on the TV, all you see is Burger King, you know, McDonald's, Taco Bell coming out with the latest thing, Popeye's new chicken sandwich. Processed food has a lot of different chemicals. It's usually high in sodium, high in the wrong kinds of fats. We need to get those out of our life. We need to go as natural as possible. You know what I mean? It's like start going to your farmer's market, finding some fresh vegetables, some fresh fruit. Whenever it comes to your meat, be careful which company you're buying it from. You know, there's different companies. Make sure that you always get farm raised, all right? Or grass-fed beef, things like that. Stay away from the heavily processed food. So obviously things like chips, horrible, sugary cereals and things like that. Anything that's frozen and packaged, it's processed technically, even down to your canned foods. So try to go as organic and natural and fresh as possible and whole foods as possible. I know it's difficult. Just ease your way into this. It's gonna be a process. Ease your way into it. And you'll find it's actually pretty fun, actually going to a farmer's market and picking out your own vegetables and then having all this colorful ingredients to make meals with, all right? The next one, guys, condiments and dressings, all right? We all love ketchup. It's not good for us, guys. And of course, we got some ranch, but this goes for most dressings, even the light ones. The light dressings, guys, that you think are helping you out with weight loss, well, they have a lot of aspartame in them, okay? And then ranch, we have ranch and we have ketchup. Ketchup, guys, it has so much sugar in it. It's unfreaking believable how much sugar is in ketchup. So when you go buy ketchup, make sure you buy just straight up sugar-free tomato ketchup, all right? You can pretty much get somewhat of the same taste, but that sugary thing is what keeps us coming back for more, and we already discussed why sugar is not good for your anxiety. So when it comes to sugar, 4 grams for 1 tablespoon. All right, and a lot of you guys just suck this stuff up. It is different, you know, eating French fries and other stuff and stuff like that without ketchup, but I'm pretty used to doing it at this point. And as far as dressings, you can replace a lot of these dressings with like olive oil. Balsamic vinaigrette is pretty good too as well, but a lot of these have, you know, different chemicals, aspartame. Oh yes, another one, guys, MSG. MSG is not good for anxiety, so that's in dressings and condiments as well. Brings me to the next one, fried foods. Fried foods are so delicious, but they are not cooked in a healthy process, all right? And all the grease, the process to make those is just bad for us. A lot of unhealthy fat as well. It's also very difficult for our stomachs to digest. So whenever your digestion is disrupted, that's not gonna help you with your IBS or stomach issues with anxiety either. And they have very little nutrition. We wanna make sure that the foods that we are putting in our body have a lot of nutritional value. Don't eat a lot of empty calories and eat things that just have no nutrition value whatsoever. Fried foods, you know, like things like French fries, of course, fried chicken strips, fried chicken, fried fish. Those things are great, and you also have to think about it. They have a lot of sodium in it as well, and no telling what else, guys, especially the packaged fried things that you're gonna find at the stores. Just try to stay away from it as much as possible. I'm not telling you can't have a little cheat day here and there, but we're trying to build a different lifestyle, okay? So try to stay away from those things. The next one is salt. I mentioned there's a lot of salt in fried foods. There's a lot of sodium in a lot of things, but it can raise your blood pressure up. That's gonna be triggering for your anxiety. I know that once I cut salt out, not only was I cutting salt and the effects from that, but I was cutting out a lot of bad foods in the process. Water retention, weight gain is something else. It also has a negative impact on our neurological system, and that causes us fatigue, okay? Now, I'm not saying cut every bit of salt out of your life. We need some levels, okay? I'm talking about like a bunch of added salt. That's something that we can do without. So when it comes to salt, whatever's already in it, let it be there. Don't pour this stuff on. And I've been guilty of that for a lot of my life, but it's not something I do anymore. The next one, guys, believe it or not, fruit juice. We are led to believe that fruit juice is just amazing for us, right? It's the juice of fruit. The problem is there's not a lot of fiber in this stuff, all right? Whenever you eat raw vegetables and fruit, there's a lot of fiber in there. It's gonna protect you from an overload of fructose. There's a ton of fructose in this. So our body has a difficult time processing it, our liver gets overloaded, and it's not good for our anxiety. We talked about the sugar spikes and the crashes, all right? It's gonna cause more jitteriness. It's gonna aggravate our shakiness, our tremors. And then we're gonna have the fatigue that follows whenever we have the crashes. All right, and the next one, guys, white bread. Gluten in general is not good for anxiety. We'll buy some whole wheat bread whenever we do use it, and even things like flour tortillas, and yeah, white bread. I know, so if you're eating things like sandwiches all the freaking time and using that type of bread, it is not gonna help. There's a lot of sugar in there, okay? So processed white bread, quickly turns to blood sugar. So that's gonna cause a lot of energy spikes and crashes. So as you can see, probably like 3 or 4 of these that I mentioned kind of comes down to sugar. So obviously sugar is a big thing that we want to take a step from. So if you're consuming these things on a daily basis or multiple times a week, consider just trimming the fat off of it, okay? Exposure therapy is a great way to do this. I know it's hard to change your diet, trust me. Cutting one little thing out at a time is the best way to do it. So this week, try to go without adding salt to your food. Next week, try not to drink any fruit juice, all right? Next week, or even you can do this on a monthly basis. Start cutting out some of these dairy products. I know it's hard, but these are changes that can really help improve your diet, your health in general, and your anxiety, okay? So be sure to get on that. Hopefully this brought some value. Maybe some of you are consuming these things on a regular basis. You're like, holy crap, yeah, I need to change some of that. That's what this video is for. If you're interested in anxiety coaching one-on-one with me, where we can go in depth on what you're dealing with, I would love to do that. The email is down below in the description in the first pinned comment. We can set that up, schedule a time and day, and I would love to get you on the right track for your anxiety recovery. Guys, if you haven't tried therapy, that's always down below for you to sign up, and you can do it on your phone, your laptop, your PC, and you can do it at home. It's convenient, so that's there. My tips for anxiety are down below. There's tons of resources, so check it out. Guys, if you haven't followed my social media, please do that. The Facebook groups are down below, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, that's there as well. Also, guys, subscribe if you haven't and hit the bell so you get updates when I put these videos out. Also, like this video if you got value, and remember, if you want to have a chance to get a shout out, I'm picking 2 people. What foods are aggravating your anxiety that you've noticed personally? Let me know down below in the comment section. And guys, until next time, keep fighting. I love you all.